welcome to another Speakers on Edge. We're doing 15 minutes of fame, and I have a very special guest today. He is a voice of vision with a message that matters. It's Dr. Richard Kaye. Richard, who are you?
Thanks for the invitation, Jake. Who am I? First of all, a husband, married to a remarkable woman, a retired chiropractor, and now I serve people, helping them get not famous, but get them publicity. One of the fastest ways to grow your business is to have publicity, to be in magazines, newspapers, television. That's a soundbite, Jake. What else would you like to know?
Well, where did it all start? I mean, you were a chiropractor. Well, actually, no, let me jump back a little bit first. You're the first guest I've had on the show who started with their marital status. You're a husband.
Interesting.
How did you meet the love of your life?
We met on the internet. No, not on a dating site. She was actually living in Cheltenham in the UK. And it was a business conference, and I was facilitating the breakout room. And as she tells the story, she said, I heard this guy talking about having a soul-to-soul conversation with his son instead of a father-dad relationship. She said, I got to meet him. She's from San Francisco, but was living in Cheltenham at the time. Reader's Digest version of that, Jake, is within a year, she moved in, and very quickly we got married. So that's my priority. I retired 20 years ago and just here to serve entrepreneurs.
That's a beautiful. I love a good love story.
Not a dating site; it was business. So yeah.
But this is what I love about who we are and the journeys that we have. Because if I hadn't asked that question, we wouldn't have gotten such a powerful answer.
Yeah, that's my truth. It's my truth.
And what made you go down the pathway of being a chiropractor?
Yeah. I was studying to be an electronics engineer. I transferred, got a BS degree in business management. We all know what these BS degrees are. And I was contemplating the rest of my life. Like, hello. And a lady I know introduced me to her chiropractor. And Tom Rissacker told me that the power that made the body can heal the body. It needs no help. It just needs no interference. That was a Friday night. Monday, I was living on Long Island, New York, and I drove into Manhattan and enrolled in chiropractic college. 4,000 hours, I guess, later, I drove to San Diego after I got my degree and started a practice. And here's how I got here today. Ladies and gentlemen, Jake, we're all in crowded fields. When I moved to San Diego, there were 300 chiropractors in town. How the heck do you start? I was a new kid on the block. I didn't know anything. We're all in crowded fields. I discovered publicity, which is what I do now. And by the way, hang out because you're going to get some free gifts about publicity and how to get featured in the media. I got myself invited to a morning television talk show. And my awareness went up from being down here with everybody. I started to get more and more attention. Then I got invited, they wrote an article about me in a newspaper called the San Diego Tribune. Then I got an article in the Los Angeles Times. Jake, followers here, you've all heard the expression, it's not what you know, it's who you know. However, let's take that a higher level. It's who knows you, or at least who knows of you. One day I get a phone call from the producer of ABC News in San Diego. She said the essence of her question, she didn't know me personally. The essence of her question was, who are you? I'm seeing you, all about you. That led to a film crew from ABC News coming in. Now I got a 6:30 news segment. Then I got a similar phone call from the producer of PBS. Same kind of inquiry. Who are you? Well, that led to PBS coming in, and now I got a PBS segment about me. That's what publicity does for your business. And Jake, that's what I'd love to share with you and your followers. And that's part of what you do. You get people on television. You get them on Roku. You get them on Amazon. Ladies and gentlemen, you got someone here hosting this program who can raise you Nobody knows you, no matter how good you are. If nobody knows who you are, you're going to go get a job. Maybe.
And even I of all people have to 100% agree with you, because I am incredibly well known in Ukraine, in the Ukrainian speaking market. There are people in villages all over Ukraine who, when you mention my name and explain that I'm the guy who was on that show who had the snake, because my co-star was a snake.
Okay. I don't know what that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And there are people all over Ukraine who know me. But those people are also, that know me, are also over Russia and through the Russian cable network worldwide. And so I'm incredibly well known in the Russian and Ukrainian speaking market, but the English speaking market, not so much. Personally, they don't know who I am or what I've done. And for me, one of my methods of getting me out there and seen is this show, is this platform.
Yes, brilliant.
And it's introducing me to the people that can help me grow further. Because as you said, it's not just who you know, it's who knows you.
Exactly, Jake. You are right on. Yes. So that's, and again, ladies and gentlemen, get in touch with this guy. He has the systems. He's got the way to do this. Let me give you an example. In the United States, this is, you can see it's a glossy magazine. It's not newsprint. And you may not know the magazine, but most people around the world know that lady. What if you were to be featured on the other side of this? It's your story. Half the magazine runs from that cover. Half the magazine runs from that cover. And the power of saying, I got a whole stack of them here. I'm not going to show them all to you. You don't need that. But, to say I have a feature article and I'm on the cover of a magazine with Nicole Kidman or Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise or Lisa Nichols. These are the things that give you credibility. The whole purpose of what we do and what Jake does is to give you influence, credibility, and exposure. When you are interviewed on one of the major networks here, for example, ABC, people say, what if nobody's watching when I'm on air? The odds are they're not watching. You get the behind the scenes pictures, the snaps that say, hey, here she is, or he is entering the studio, here he is on the sofa. And then you get a sizzle reel to say, hey, this is real. What do you do with that? This is called leverage. And what you do when you leverage, you put it on your social. You put it in your emails with a link to the video. And I'll give you an example. I was on another broadcast, and yesterday morning I got a LinkedIn that, hey, we did an interview with Dr. Kaye. Here's what it was about. And a broadcast. Well, all I did was put that into my LinkedIn profile. So it's amplified and it goes out. Who knows how many people listen when you're on? This is not what's important. It's how you leverage it, how you get out there. Some of you may know the name Lisa Nichols. We just had Lisa interviewed at the NASDAQ studio in New York. Now, from Jake, from Poland, that's a little bit of a schlep. But Lisa's in the country. She just had to go from the West Coast to the East Coast. Then we had her featured on the NASDAQ Jumbotron. It's the largest Jumbotron on the planet. Nobody looks up and says, hey, I want to do business with that person on the Jumbotron. Well, she has it all over her social media, all over her profiles, links to it in her email. No matter what publicity you have, even if it's speaking to a local university or high school, leverage it. I'm going to give you 10 different ways to leverage it. richardkaye.com, richardkaye.com/leverage. It's a, I think, 5 or 6 minute video. I'm going to give you an example of one way to leverage it. About a year ago, I got a very interesting phone call. I was advised, they said, Dr. Kaye, we're thrilled to let you know that you're the recipient of the White House President's Lifetime Achievement Award. I didn't even know I'd been nominated. Well, people ask me, has that made you any money? No, this kind of stuff doesn't make you money. One way I leverage that, it's part of my email signature. It says right there, recipient of the President's Lifetime White House. Someone said, President of what? White House President's Lifetime Achievement Award. What does that do? That raises your influence. It raises your credibility. You want people, and my story about growing my practice, yes, it's about me because it's my story. I invite you to use it as a metaphor on how can you take anything you've got and create awareness of it. By the way, if you want to know how you can do this, talkaboutpublicity.com, one word, talkaboutpublicity.com, takes you right to my calendar. Set up a 30-minute call. We'll explore how you can get out. I reached out to Jake and I said, hey, I'd like to share some knowledge, wisdom, and information. And my goal for you is to take away things that you can do. Now, people say, can you get me a newspaper in my backyard, in my city? You're better off having a newspaper from someplace else. And no, how many people live in LA who, say, hey, I'm in LA? Great. When you are featured outside your hometown, that raises your credibility. It's endorsement. I just picked this because it's the one on the top here. It's an endorsement from the Los Angeles Tribune magazine saying, we endorse this person. That's not exactly what they say. But if you're featured in these kinds of magazines, or the New York City Independent, or the Atlantic Journal, it's a tacit endorsement of who you are, that they chose to write about you. If you're interviewed at ABC or NBC or CBS or Fox, it's the same thing. Your story is powerful enough to have the message. Now, I'm a firm believer that if it's not your gift, it's not your job. We have the contacts. We have the resources. These publications and media outlets come to us and say, hey, we're doing a series on, we're doing a story about, who do you know? And that's the key. It's who do you know? And then we go back to those phone calls that I got from PBS and ABC. Who are you? You want your phone ringing. Hey, I saw you on ABC, or I saw your social post, or I read an article about you in the San Francisco Chronicle. That raises your influence, credibility, and the exposure's there because that's what you've read about. So
what you're saying, I've got to admit, is absolute gold, and it's real. And anyone watching this, you need to actually go to richardkaye.com/leverage, because you don't know what's going to happen when somebody reads that article.
Yes.
And I'm going to share with you a very short snippet of what happened to me because of an article that was written about my television experiences in Ukraine. A woman was in an abusive situation and she wanted to commit and say goodbye to the world. She put the hose in her car.
Wow.
And she sat down in the front seat. It was 6 a.m. in the morning in Australia, and she had a magazine on her car seat. And as she closed the door from putting the hose in the appropriate position, the magazine opened to my article. She saw that article and went, I need to talk to him. So she picked up her phone, found me on Facebook, sent me a messenger message. And I saw the message. I was in Kiev, Ukraine at the time. I saw the message. I recognized the name because it was actually a famous Australian. And so I answered. and she was about to say goodbye to the world because she was being bullied on set.
Mm.
She's still around today because of that 2-hour phone call we had.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
This is the power of putting things out, because it's not just how much money can I make. It's what life can actually be touched by what's out there.
Yes.
And
Thank you for saving someone's life. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Not the first one. I've done this several times because of who I am and the journey that I've been on.
Yeah. Wow.
When people know who you are, they reach out.
Mm-hmm.
And they reach out for business, for personal reasons, and for so much more.
Yeah. For life. You never know.
Life. And to get your message out, having someone like yourself with the agency and with your lifetime of experience, this is something everyone needs to listen to.
Yes.
And not just listen. You've just invited people to go to the website. And would you mind saying the website again, please?
Richard Kaye, RICHARD.com/leverage, LEVERAGE. And if you want to set up a call, a 30-minute exploratory call, talk about publicity, all one word, no hyphens, no dashes. And by the way, if you want to know how you show up in the media, richardkaye.com/quiz, QUIZ -ICE, ICE, influence, credibility, and exposure. It's a self-appraisal indicator. You'll find out how you're seen in the media. It's a gift. Enjoy it.
Richard, you have certainly been a voice of vision with a message that matters, because your message is that our message matters.
Yes. Yes.
And you're dedicating your life to giving us the opportunity to have a message that truly matters.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity to share, Jake.
It has been an honor having you on the show today. Thanks, everyone. That's it for Speakers on Edge. We'll see you next time.